mean, look at that upturned schnoz. Everybody? This guy was our Department of Transportation. Let's check in on what's going on with old Pete Buttigieg, right? He made a sad video. He's trying to grow a beard to look a little more masculine. It's not going to work because he's getting rammed in the ass. By the way, if you want to see the total uncensored content of this, like you want to see the total uncensored episode, just go to my website and go to leonardoisfunny.com and get a premium membership. You can use my promo code Leo and get 20% off. Seriously, super easy. And then you can see all the swearing. You can see, I'm going to show you guys some gay pride parades. You can see the full-on nudity that we got to censor here for YouTube. But you can see what they're showing the kids if you go on my website. You can't see it on YouTube. You could see it if you go out in the street or if you pretend to be a 5-year-old boy, they would show it to you. Here he is. He's talking about what happened. Also, Hillary Clinton made a statement about how sad this was. I'm sure Hillary Clinton is just super concerned about children. She seems like, real maternal kind of figure.
I was here in my study and noticed that there was a police officer and a CPS worker at the door. Showed them in, asked what was going on, and they started talking about this allegation. They couldn't tell me what the allegation was, and then they told me that I couldn't be around my children unsupervised until my children were interviewed.
You should never be allowed to be around children unsupervised. If this was a sane world where we still believed in God and had morals, this man would be locked up in an institution at best, and at worst, I can't say it. Okay? I can't say it. But there's so many of these stories that are coming out about gay couples adopting kids or having them in a surrogate, and then they end up abusing the kids to death. Yeah, I can't say it on YouTube once again, but there was, the first gay dad surrogate in Britain was recently arrested for SAing to the children that he adopted, and everybody was like, how could this happen? If only we had known.
Why did I do that, bro?
These men who have gross perversions when it comes to their human sexuality couldn't be trusted around vulnerable, innocent children that have no way to defend themselves against it. If only we had known. So here's what's interesting though. We don't need to listen to Pete lie because he lies. I don't even know what's going on with them. They could be lying. Whether he was even had CPS call, because the whole thing's weird. There was no court order. They took the kids from him for a day before they could be questioned. They had to go stay with their grandparents. I wonder how Pete Buttigieg's parents feel. They have to know. Like, you have to know. Like, if your son is a PDF, like, but you can't say anything because he's in the government and he might have you killed. So when the CPS calls you and says, could you take his kids? You go, okay, I guess I'll do it. Let's hope he's going to leave these kids alone. Maybe his parents are the ones that call CPS. Because they kind of say, like, some anonymous tipper came in. If that was the case, then Hillary Clinton's one kid should have been taken away. Well, maybe we didn't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's move on. Here's something that you did not know. Pete Buttigieg's mentor and best friend was sentenced to 30 years in prison for the possession of CP. Okay, let's listen to this guy who covered this.
We all know Pete Buttigieg, and we know how he loves to mock mothers and parents and pretend he's a chest beater and all that weird stuff for clicks and follows and political whatever, and he's got a mental illness, I'm sure. But I did not know that his best friend and mentor is currently serving 30 years in prison for the possession and distribution of, well, you can read it there. That definitely makes things a little more interesting, I would believe, with the fact that he's got children. I don't know. Anybody else concerned with that?
Yeah, I'm concerned because we're seeing, first of all, gay dudes who want to be gay and have a good time being gay and they're going to clubs and doing whatever they're doing. That's one thing. But when you're in that category and then you're like obsessed with kids, that's where we start to go, hey, maybe there's a reason that God burned down Sodom and Gomorrah. Huh? Maybe there's a reason that every religious institution has had a prescription against this kind of behavior and said, if you allow it, it's going to destroy your society and corrupt your children. I don't know. Maybe humans are humans and they haven't really changed much in the 6,000 or 100,000, depending on your worldview, years that they've been existing, and maybe these recorded transgressions and wisdom in holy books was based on human behavior that really, again, hasn't really changed and doesn't change according to environment. Maybe they knew something. Maybe they knew something. And maybe the people who push it aren't really interested in your well-being or your society's well-being, and we should have listened to our grandparents for the love of God. So why should we be concerned with the gays? They're just two men who love each other the way a woman and a man love each other. They would never subject their children to anything horrendous, like maybe you would. You straight, normie people with your perversion.